So, if you have not tuned in before, my name is Grace and I am a employee at the Upper Valley Aquatic Center, and I also hold my bachelor's degree in nutrition. And I'm here every Tuesday at noon to give you nutrition tips, advice, and anything else that you all want to hear about. So today I want to talk about breakfast. So some say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I wholeheartedly agree. But I think they're all important. I strongly believe that starting off the day with a good breakfast sets the tone for a happy and healthy day for the rest of the day. So I want to talk to you a little about some delicious and nutritious breakfast to try out for sustained energy throughout the morning. So I like to think of all my meals as templates, and it's how I talk to clients about them. It's easy to just fill in each category at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I first want to preface that with nobody's perfect, and a single lapse doesn't mean everything's for nothing. So, about what our breakfast should include. We should, at least most of the time, that is. So, we want to include a complex carbohydrate such as oats, whole grain bread, or potatoes. Try to include as many fruits and vegetables as possible, which I'll talk a little about how to incorporate that. And then some protein and fat in moderation. And those can be optional for breakfast. Breakfast is the first food we have in the day, and we want it to give us as much energy as possible for the whole morning. And that's the role of the carbohydrates. It's okay if you skimp a little on the protein and fat because you can easily get those later in the day at lunch or dinner or afternoon snacks. But the carbohydrates are really going to keep you well sustained all morning. So, about some recommendations I have for lunch, and feel free to comment. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So, oatmeal is comes up often when healthy breakfasts are discussed, but oatmeal doesn't have to be some flavorless mush, which I know I used to think of it as. Now I love it, and many people kind of go to that bowl of flavorless oats in the morning, but it can actually be really good even for picky eaters. So you may want to like adding berries, nuts, or seeds, and like a sweetener such as maple syrup or honey will give you lots of energy. Some of my favorites is like oatmeal with almond milk, some like walnuts, cinnamon, maple syrup, maybe even some chopped apple in there. It's super delicious. And then the next one I want to talk about is yogurt parfaits. So yogurt is full of probiotics, which you may have heard of, and these are actually bacteria and they support our gut health, so really help with our digestion and everything going on down there. And it makes it a really fantastic addition to your diet. I recommend everyone try to get some sort of probiotic in them, and I'm sure they'll feel much better and it's better for your health. So with yogurt, you could eat it as is, or you can top it with some granola, fresh fruit, really anything you want. It's kind of like oatmeal where it's super versatile, and then you can have a delicious treat. So smoothies are awesome. They're probably some of my favorite snacks because they're so versatile. There are thousands and thousands of recipes out there. So whether you want something chocolatey, fruity, green, or somewhere in the middle, there'll be one for you. And going back to that template, even though you may not see it all on a plate separately, you can really throw it all in and just blend it up. And I can give you all a recipe. If you are interested, you can just comment. So in the last breakfast are breakfast bars, and this doesn't mean those sugary granola bars that sold at the grocery store. Even things like Nature Valley and Belvita, though they're some of the better brands, they're not always as good for you as you may think and as their marketing suggests. So you can make your own nutrient-rich bar, which is full of all the foods you enjoy. It's actually way easier than you think. So you can add chocolate chips, peanut butter, cinnamon, dried fruit. You can truly make it your own. One of my favorite recipes is 3 ingredients. It's like maple syrup, oats, and peanut butter, and it is delicious and not full of a ton of additives, which is pretty awesome. So these suggestions are so great because their versatility, which I mentioned earlier, and so you can really make them how you like. And if you get bored of one, it's super easy to switch up. So I encourage you to experiment with different flavors so you can find what you like best. And like I mentioned, there are so many recipes. I'm happy to give my favorite. my favorite ones, so feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to give you some ideas. Another important component of breakfast that I want to talk about is caffeine. So some people say this is the most important part of breakfast, and I definitely rely on my mug of coffee in the morning. We just want to be mindful of how much coffee we're drinking. So for those of us who drink coffee, we want to aim for 3 to 4 cups of a day maximum. And when I say cups, I don't mean a mug, I mean a measuring cup's worth, because each one of those has about 100 grams of caffeine in it, milligrams of caffeine in it, sorry, which is a ton. So we just want to limit that. So if you have trouble cutting down your intake, you can drink tea as a replacement or even decaf coffee, depending on where you are and what you're comfortable with. Caffeinated teas tend to have much less caffeine than coffee, but you still want to be mindful of how much you drink. And you can have a little bit more, but you may maybe consider, instead of black tea always, try green tea or maybe even switching over to herbal teas. I like to have a mix throughout my day, and in the afternoon I don't drink any caffeine, and I find that helps me sleep better at night and wind down. But everybody's different, and do what works for you. So with coffee and tea and any other beverages you may be drinking in the morning, you just want to make sure you're not loading up your drink with tons of sugar and other additions that may be best for you, especially first thing in the morning. So especially at coffee shops, they have lots of lattes and tea drinks and other coffee drinks that are super delicious but so full of sugar, and in the morning you don't really want to be having that mocha or frappuccino or anything else like that. That will definitely give you the carbs your body may want, but not in the right way at all. So try to keep it simple in the morning. And I hope you enjoyed all these suggestions. I'm happy to give out more. You can just comment on this video and I can follow up with them. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Feel free to comment a question about breakfast or anything else. Feel free to email me or Facebook message the Aquatic Center or myself, and I'd be happy to answer them. So see you all next week at Tuesday at noon on Facebook. Bye, everybody.